Welcome to Stat 400, Week 5 at the University of Bridgeport. This week, we're going to be talking about contingency tables, chi-square tests, the interpretation of chi-square tests, and causality. Up to now, we've attached p-values to tests of using continuous variables. Now we'll continue with categorical variables. So in statistics, a contingency table, also referred to as cross-tabulation or crosstab, is a type of table in a matrix format that displays the frequency distribution of the variables. Okay, so in this example, we will be looking at the OJ data where we will have purchases of Citrus Hill or Minute Maid, the special of Citrus Hill not or it is present, meaning there was a special, there is not a special of Citrus Hill. So look at the legend. Here we have all the different metrics that are inside each one of these cells. And obviously here we don't have all the metrics, but we have two of them. So we have the first and the third. So let's take a look a little bit in more detail what this is all about. The N. The N, I'm taking this metric over here. So the first metric, the N, you'll see it here, 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 and here. We have 532 observations, meaning that 532 people purchased Citrus Hill while it was not on special. Moving on. Let's take a look at the chi-square contribution later. So I'm going to go with the third one, which is N divided by row total. So N is 532 divided by the row total, 653, gives us 0.815. So we interpret this as 81.5% of the people that purchased Citrus Hill made their purchase when Citrus Hill was not on special. Here, N divided by column total, which again, here we have the N 532 divided by 912 gives us 0.583. We interpret this as when Citrus Hill was not on special, 58.3% of the people purchased Citrus Hill. So again, when Citrus Hill was not on special, 58.3% of the people purchased Citrus Hill. Continuing, we have the last metric, which is N divided by table total, which is 532 divided by 1070. So what does this mean? This means that out of everyone that purchased orange juice, 49.7% were Citrus Hill purchases when Citrus Hill was not on special. Okay, so although we're not inferring causality, meaning one variable causes the other, we do want to know if the relationship is significant. The relationship, obviously, that we're thinking about here is sales and promotion, the specials. So for this, we perform a chi-square test, also denoted with the Greek letter chi, and then we square it. So when we're creating a contingency table, we can request a chi-square test. It's just a few more letters of code that we'll see later on. So this is what you get from your chi-square test. You get this output over here. And well, let's look at this in a little bit more detail. So remember that we talked about this second item here, which is the chi-square contribution. If we sum up all of these chi-square distributions, whatever this number is, however it was calculated, we sum it all up, we get 18.85, which is this number right over here. Degrees of freedom. So degrees of freedom are rows minus 1, columns minus 1. So we have 2 rows, minus 1 is 1. We have 2 columns, minus 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. So again, rows minus 1 times columns minus 1 gives us the degrees of freedom. Then we have the p-value. So the p-value is looked up or is calculated in R automatically for us, but basically what it is, it's saying with a chi-square value of 18.85, when we have 1 degree of freedom, what is the p-value? And it's this number here, a very small number. Now with this very small number, we already know that if our threshold is 0.01, this is much smaller than 0.01, and we say that it is significant. But let's interpret the results, because telling your boss that the chi-square and p-value, it won't help you understand what you uncovered. So, and for business purposes, until you interpret the results, you haven't uncovered really anything. So, the interpretation. We reject the null hypothesis that would state that there is no dependency between sales of orange juice and specials of Citrus Hill at the p-value 0.01 level. There is a dependency between sales of OJ and specials of Citrus Hill. Now in English, there is a significant relationship between sales of OJ and specials of Citrus Hill. But still, this is not exactly something that we can take some business action on. So let's go a little bit further. Let's infer causality. To infer causality, we need three things, three conditions. All three need to be met. There needs to be a relationship between the variables, a temporal difference, and it needs to be grounded in theory. So let's examine this with our example. A relationship between variables. With a chi-square test, we have uncovered that there is a relationship. However, we called it a dependency. And there is a significant relationship because, again, our threshold was p-value of 0.01. It was much smaller than that. So we have condition 1 satisfied. A temporal difference. Which came first, the special or the sale? So, in my opinion, the special. I'm pretty sure that the special comes first, because if not, why would they put the special there? There's no sense of saying that there was a special when the person that purchased it didn't use the special. So the special always comes first, and then comes the sale, whether the special is absent or not. Anyway, grounded in theory. So grounded in theory can be interpreted as, does it make sense? Does it make sense that specials would have an effect on sales? I think it can be. So there are situations when specials will not affect sales. That's when things are really, really cheap and people are very, very brand loyal. Then in that case, it wouldn't. But for the most part, theoretically, do specials have an effect on sales in general? I think they do. Okay, so now let's interpret the results again, but now with causal language. So this part we've already heard. At the p-value 0.01 level, sales of OJ are dependent on sales of Citrus Hill. Okay? On specials, of Citrus Hill. Now, in English, specials of Citrus Hill generate more sales of Citrus Hill. How do I know this? Well, see the end column total for Citrus Hill, promotion versus not promotion. Let's go back and take a quick look at this. And here we find it. And here we have the specials. So Citrus Hill sales, when there's no special, we have 58.3% of the sales are Citrus Hill. When there is a special, we have 76.6%. Therefore, we have a lot more sales when there is a special. Okay, so let's take a look and let's do this in R now.